Here's what you can expect on today's Families Matter Most podcast.
How can you be a cheerleader for your partner?
It's these little things that we do that add up to the big things. And I think we can talk a lot about these big idea things about how to save a marriage, and communication is key and blah, blah, all that stuff. There's nothing wrong with that stuff, but it really comes down to the little things. It's the little things every day.
Every time Jen Dean speaks, I can see hope, knowledge, expertise, wisdom, and love.
When Jen Dean speaks about parenting, we make sure that we are there to listen because we know we will get valuable advice.
Families Matter Most with Jen Dean.
She doesn't just give skills for us to be better parents, but she teaches us how to reach our children's hearts. And at the end of the day, that's what truly matters.
It's the Families Matter Most podcast with Jen and Sean Dean today.
Hi, everybody. How's everyone doing?
I'm so glad that you're here and you're joining us for this conversation. This is an unscripted, discussion.
Well, it's not totally unscripted. Jen has given me a couple keywords I can't say.
Really?
And things I can't do.
Okay, but that's daily life with Sean Dean.
Yeah, it's just normal life. I feel very honored and privileged to be on your podcast, Jen. Thank you so much for inviting me. Isn't that what you say
That's
when
right.
you're a guest on a podcast?
And thank you, Sean Dean, for producing and editing this podcast for all these years. We have like 70,000 downloads now. It's pretty awesome.
You know what's really crazy is Jen did one podcast a while ago. What was it called? On mentoring? And in there, it was about
finding a mentor.
Yeah, making sure when you find someone like that, you know, you get the work from them, make sure you pay them. And here I am editing all these podcasts for her over the years. I'm like, hey, wait a second, you're using me again.
But not Sean. We don't pay him.
No.
He's married to me. That's your payment right there.
Trust me, it's fine. Everything's fine.
But yes. So today we're going to talk about how we got from there to here.
Yeah, it's kind of a follow-up to your Marriage Killers series that you're doing here on the Families Matter Most podcast. And I feel very honored that I'm part of the Marriage Killer, part 3.
To talk about the marriage killer is Sean Dean. Well, okay, so we talked about the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, the 4 things that predict divorce.
Yep.
And if you remember, they were stonewalling, being defensive, criticizing, and contempt. And I can see all of those in our past.
I'm good at all 4, or I was.
Sean is very, very good at the stonewalling and defense.
Yeah, that's kind of my defense.
I'm very good at the contempt and criticism. Go figure, huh?
I'm not saying nothing.
Let's pick out all of our flaws. And the tricky thing is that I'm really critical of my own self. And as I shared in the Marriage Killers podcast, if you haven't listened, go back and listen to Marriage Killers. I think it's really good and helpful.
It is good stuff. It is.
And it's scientifically backed on the 4 things that do predict divorce. So if you want a better relationship, listen to that podcast. But I can see, definitely, I'm critical with myself. I've been critical with Sean. And I think I spent a lot of years before in contempt, in feeling sorry for myself, in looking down my nose at Sean. I really wanted this perfect, idyllic marriage where we were going to be serious and stoic and leaders. And we couldn't listen to rock music and we couldn't watch movies that had a swear in them. And we had to, we had to be just perfect all the time.
And let me tell you how that went. It didn't go anywhere because no one's perfect. I think guys have the same dream too. Maybe it's a little different. I get married. Everything's going to be romantic all the time. Everything's going to be, touchy-feely all the time. Oh,
yeah. And of course, that's the lie, right? When all these young boys are like, when I get married, I can have sex all the time, whenever I want.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
No. But for a lot of years, I really tried to make Sean into this perfection that I had in my head. And I think that did a lot of damage. And then when he didn't turn out to be this perfect human being that wanted to recite poetry and be romantic and help out around the house and also give me freedom and let me do whatever I want all the time, it went badly because I think I inadvertently gave him this idea that he's not enough. He's not good enough and he'll never be good enough. So what's the point of even trying?
think a lot of guys deal with rejection. I think that's how we feel, and that's how I felt a lot of the time, was rejected. And I don't mean just in bedroom situations. I mean in rejected of all my thoughts, my feelings. And I think a lot of guys step backwards now too, because a lot of ladies will take control of the situation and make the plans and do all the things. And the guy says, well, it doesn't matter what I do anyway. You just do it anyway. So I'm just going to sit at the back and just watch. And that's not how it's designed to be either, right? It's supposed to be teamwork. So I guess if we're talking about how we got from there to here, I should start with the back there, because there was a time in our marriage where Jen said, we're done. We're done.
Yeah.
That's what she said to me. And I'm going to take the kids and I'm going to leave. So I want to say that was then. And where we are now is probably the best we've ever been.
Yeah.
We talk about everything. We can tell each other anything. We have trust with each other. Emotionally, we're probably at our peak. Physically, mentally, all those things are totally great now. So how did you get from I'm leaving you to we work together.
Yeah.
Every day now. We actually work together. It kind of sounds like this here. This is kind of what we do for fun.
They shower together. Not for love. They're just cheap. Jack 94.5 with Sean and Jen.
Yeah, we're on a radio show every day. And I'm telling you, in high stress situations like that where we are now, where there's got to be on time, got to be
live.
Be funny on 3. Got to say this, got to do this. Dude, there's a lot of chance for things to go wrong with the best of teams that work in this business. And we're a married couple that have no problem throwing darts if we want to, but we don't do it. We don't do it. So that's the big question, Jen, that you're asking me and that we're going to talk about today is how do you get from we're almost on the edge of a marriage collapse. Can I say that? Is that close enough?
You can.
To where we are, where we're working together and probably at the best place of our lives together. Because some people are listening, they're in the middle. Some people are going through the worst. Some people are thinking, I hate the person I'm with.
Yeah.
Some people are saying, I wish it could be better. What are the steps that you need to take to get there?
Well, I don't know if I could say just do these 3 things and everything will be fine. But I will tell you for me, what changed it for me. And Sean, I don't know if you even understand how pivotal this was for me in my life and for our marriage, for my role in our marriage anyway. The Fixer Upper with Chip and Joanna Gaines. It changed my life. And not in the way that you would think. So Chip and Joanna Gaines, they have a show on TV. I don't know if it's still there. It's called The Fixer Upper, and they buy properties and fix them up and then sell them. Anyway, Chip and Joanna Gaines. So
a married couple. Are they
married
still married?
couple. I hope so.
Okay.
I hope so. Chip he's a wacko. He's a wackadoo, you guys. He's like hanging off trees and making dumb jokes that aren't funny, and he's being quirky, and he's a lot like Sean.
Thanks, Jen.
He's a lot like Sean.
Yeah.
He loves his wife. He loves his family. And he's just a goof. He's a goof. And I watched that show. And Chip would do things. And I thought, in all the other shows, when the guy would go and be dumb, the wife would roll her eyes. Oh, there's my husband being an idiot again. And I thought, Joanna's different. She doesn't do that. She kind of does like a little smile, but it doesn't look like a contempt kind of look down my nose like, oh, my husband's an idiot smile. It's oh, he's so funny. I love him. It's like a different look on her face. And I thought, wait a minute. I have a choice to make here. I thought to myself, I can either die on this hill, try and make Sean into this leader that he's not made to be. He's made to be a goof, and he's fun, and he's different, and he's quirky. And I can either die on this hill trying to make him into something and be mad because he's not what I wanted him to be. Or I could choose to love who he is and decide, you know what? Okay, we're not going to be these pillars in the community of wisdom and sage advice and seriousness. Maybe he's called to be something different. And I have a choice to make in that. And I decided I could roll my eyes. I could be contemptuous. I could be mad at the way that he is. I could try and change him into something else. Or I could decide to throw all that aside and just enjoy the journey and decide to love him the way that he is. And yeah, okay, we listen to rock music. And now this is before the radio show, remember? We listen to rock music. We watch Lord of the Rings. That's who we are. And not everyone thinks that we have sage advice. But man, they're going to think we're fun and we have a good marriage and we love each other.
The one thing that I will say, it's like a question to ask yourself is, what are you fighting about right now?
Yeah.
Like if you really think about what you're arguing about, that stems a lot back to what it is that's going on. Now, this is going to change for everybody because if you have little ones, a lot of little ones, like we had a time where we had 2 in diapers and another one kind of running around toddler, you're outnumbered. And it's hard. And mom's not sleeping. And dad's usually younger, trying to get into the company, make more money. Mom's trying to work better at the office and get up while trying to manage the home. And
oh, it's hard for everybody.
So I will say that at our worst, we were going through all that stuff. What I wish I knew then that I know now is to have more open and honest conversation with each other about how we're really doing and how we're really feeling. It's easy to say that because I'm very quick to be defensive. So it's a lot about the tone in which you tell someone that there's a problem and how you do it. If you're in the middle of a fight, it's not the best time to bring up all the things they're doing wrong or what they could do better, right?
It's really hard, though, when you feel like you're drowning yourself and your partner comes to you. I can remember this feeling. Your partner comes to you and is like, oh, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I just need a nap. Can you take the kids so I can have a nap? And you want to scream at them and say, excuse me? I haven't slept in 2 years. Like, why do you get a nap? I should get a nap first. And I think it's really hard if you feel like you're drowning, to stop and listen to somebody else. And if they're gonna verbalize what they need, it's hard to put that aside and say, okay, let's get you looked after first. But then I need a nap too, guys. Like, I'm next in line. I think if we could stop blaming each other and seeing each other as the enemy, and that's what Sean and I did for so long. We saw each other as the enemy. And instead of being on the same team, and instead of thinking it's Sean versus me, we changed it to be like, okay, it's Sean and I together versus raising these kids. This is the struggle. And
it has to be verbalized. I think you have to both agree to it at a time and a place when you're both in a good place, if that makes sense.
How does that even happen, though?
It does happen. There's times. Okay, go back and think about the moment when you fell in love with that woman or that guy. Like, do you remember why you wanted to call them? Why, when they call, all that stuff that's happening. There's a reason you're with the person you're with. And usually the person you're with is quite opposite you.
Yeah.
The mistake I find that we made was we spend most of our time trying to change each other into who we are or who we want to be.
Oh, yes.
Versus the fact that I got all these holes in me and you got the pegs that fit. So just take it. I mean, a lot of our fights came from house cleaning because I'm anal retentive. I'm a weirdo. I am. And I wanted things a certain way. And I would kind of get mad at Jen for not picking up, I would say, her end of the bargain. And then finally let it go. And then I would do cleaning stuff because I want to at the end of a busy day. It helps me just feel better about stuff, working with my hands. I'm doing something, I can accomplish it. Then Jen would take it personally that, that
I'd be so offended.
Yeah, so offended. And I'm like, it's not about you. We're at a place now where Jen this is where we're at. Jen can be on a couch reading a book with a coffee, and I could be doing laundry, and she's fine with it because I'm not huffing and puffing either. And she's like, I already did this and this, and he knows what I do, and he does that because that's what he does.
Yep.
So figure out the things that you're doing and the things you want to do, and then communicate that with each other, and then do it and explain why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm not cleaning up this kitchen because I don't think you're good enough to do it. I'm cleaning up the kitchen because it makes me feel good, because I can finish something, accomplish something. It's important to me. And as soon as we had those conversations, a lot of this stuff changed.
I want to ask Sean a question.
Shoot.
So Sean is a goofy guy.
No, I meant, shoot.
Sean is a goofy guy. He likes to have fun. He brings a lot of fun and joy to our home. And I've learned over the years to appreciate that. I think if it was just me, we'd have a real efficient, multitasking, serious, probably boring house.
I wouldn't say that, but okay.
So I'm grateful for Sean and the sense of humor that he brings to our home and our family, and that's wonderful. Something that changed, that shifted for me is I heard about somebody years ago, kind of in the middle of this transformation for us. I learned about someone who had decided that, you know, he wasn't happy in his marriage anymore. And he said, I'd read somewhere that he said, you know what? She didn't laugh at my jokes anymore. She didn't laugh at my jokes. And that really stuck with me, because I thought, at that time, I thought, I don't laugh at Sean's jokes. I've heard them all a million times. I don't even think they're funny.
They're good.
They're not good. They're terrible.
She has no sense of humor. See, she's laughing.
And I thought to myself, that's me. I don't laugh at his jokes anymore. And reading what this person had said, it was more than the jokes. Like, it had hurt him deeply that his woman didn't find him funny anymore. So my question for Sean is, like, how important is that to you? That your wife would laugh at your jokes?
I think it's just a matter of taking the interest in what I do and what I'm about. So it doesn't matter if I'm trying to be jokey or if let's say I'm a more serious guy that likes to talk about finances and budgeting. But if that's the case and that's what I want to talk about, and you take an interest, I really want to see what you're doing with the budget.
Show me the spreadsheet, baby.
It sounds stupid, right, when I say it like that, but the truth is that would make me feel really good because you're taking interest. Same way with me, with you. Jen does all these crazy things. She does this podcast. She does radio shows. She speaks all over. She does all these things. My number one job is to encourage her and support her in everything she's doing. I can be honest sometimes when it's the right time to go, how is this? Sometimes it's a time of advice. Most of the time it's to just be support and helping the person. And so when you do that for your partner, that's what you're doing. To me, it's support, no matter what they're doing. It's like Jen does not give a rip about the NBA playoffs when they're on. She does not care at all. And I'm fine to watch a game at night, and that's what I like to do. However, it's very cool when Jen comes downstairs and she goes, is this the Phoenix Dallas series? Wow, Chris Paul, he's really played a good game the other day. And I'm like, okay, did aliens just abduct
Meanwhile,
Jen?
I just Googled something real fast.
But you made me laugh, and you sat down and you said, can I watch a bit of the game with you? And I said, sure, because for the ladies, guys like to be shoulder to shoulder with their friends or with their wives. Doesn't mean we have to be talking all the time. We're not like that, but shoulder to shoulder. And she's sitting beside me. She said, I'm going to watch some of the game with you. I might do some stuff on my phone. Is that cool? I was like, absolutely, it's cool. Sometimes I get mad at the referees. Just be careful.
Yeah.
So it's these little things that we do that add up to the big things. And I think we can talk a lot about these big idea things about how to save a marriage, and communication is key and blah, blah, all that stuff. There's nothing wrong with that stuff. But it really comes down to the little things. It's the little things every day. And it's a choice that I make. Now, I don't know if I'm right in this. I honestly don't know. I think I messed myself up. Because I would tell Jen every day how beautiful she is, how gorgeous she is. And I'm sure I believed it at one time, like with all my heart. Now I just truly believe it. And I don't know if I brainwashed myself to think it's true.
Well, I'll take it. I'll take it.
But I'm telling you, if you have that talk all the time, every day I try and tell her something positive and uplifting. And even on the days when we're fighting now, it wasn't always like that. But to me, I think that's one of the most important things we can do as husbands is saying something positive and uplifting. But if your marriage isn't going well, and you're saying every day, our marriage will do well. It's you're speaking it out loud and you're saying something eye to eye. And same way for women, because I'm telling you right now, I know all the jokes like, what do men really want? Oh, yeah, it's all men really want. I'll tell you what men really want more than anything. More than that. The act.
Really?
We just want to feel respected. And it sounds harsh in today's society for women to respect a man. I don't mean anything, looking down upon him. Well, I just mean when a man feels respected by his wife, then I will truly die for that woman. And how do you show respect to a man is just by listening to him. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. If you're farting all day and being an idiot, you're going to get what you get from that. But if you can show some respect to your guy, even when he doesn't deserve it, because there's times I don't deserve it and Jen still does it, and I feel good about who I am, and it changes my whole outlook on everything that I do. And I don't know if women really realize the true power they have. That's more than the bedroom talk and all those jokes. You can truly empower your husband or your man to be better at everything just by encouraging him, just by telling him, you're a handsome man. I'm not sure how some guys are, but let's say you're in a movie theater or something and she puts her hand around you. Now we're talking. Now be careful, guys. When she does things like that, it doesn't mean,
it's not licensed.
Her hand grazed my butt. There's hope. There's hope I'm going to get lucky tonight. That's not what I'm saying. So just guard yourself on that too. I'm telling you, if you show your guy a bunch of respect, it's going to go a long way. It went a long way to me. And I know the time when Jen made a decision just to go, you know what? I know he's not perfect, but I'm going to love him. I'm going to tell every day that he's perfect for our family and he's perfect for me. And guess what? I start believing that I'm perfect for her. And then I start acting like I'm perfect for her.
It's really true.
And now every morning, like a sucker, I wake up and I bring her coffee and I make her bed and I got soft and I got weak.
No, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. And I think that is the key. How can you be a cheerleader for your partner? Like, sit down for a minute and really think that through. What do they need to feel like you are cheering for them, that you really have their back and you're behind them?
Right now, whatever it is you're going through, it could be the worst phase of your marriage.
Yeah.
I dare you to take this challenge. I double dog, triple dog, black stamp, dare you to take this challenge. Start saying something, but you got to take some time, think about something positive about your spouse. Guy to girl, girl to guy, whatever the situation, right? Think about something positive about them that you love, that you like. And then go tell them that and then walk away. And then tomorrow do the same thing. And then the next day do the same thing and maybe add some more to it. And then the next day do it again. Whether you're feeling it or not. I guarantee you a lot of power comes from what we say. And if I'm saying hurtful things all the time, and guard yourself too, guys, when you're talking to your other guy friends about it, saying, oh, my wife said blah, blah, blah. I can't take her from this and blah, 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 blah. Don't do that. Don't do that. I've known guys who've done that, and then I meet their wives, and I go, ooh, that's a terrible person. And they're actually quite lovely. Because I heard
about them. Yeah. I heard all these negative things about them.
They're actually quite lovely. But then guess what? I'm speaking this out loud. A lot of stuff comes from what we say. And even what we, say out loud to ourselves. So she never does this. She'll always do this, or he'll never do this. The never, forever, and always are dangerous words. I know you've talked about that before, Jen.
Yes. That's really good. So how can you be your partner's cheerleader? What can you do? It's so fascinating to me that when I decided that, okay, I was going to turn towards Sean, and even if it meant we weren't going to be in leadership in these other areas, we were going to be fun. We're going to have a good marriage. And even if we were, in my mind, excluded and disqualified from lots of other leadership roles, we were going to have a great marriage and we were going to have fun in our home, and I was going to love on this guy, and it would be different. It would be an adventure. Funny though, what's happened since then? Is it destiny that we're doing this now? Sean and I are hosts every day at a rock station on the radio. So here I thought we were going to be disqualified from having a voice in the community, and we get to speak to thousands of people every day.
We're at a place now where we can work together and do this. I don't know if when our kids were little, it would have been the right time or anything like that.
It would not have gone well.
Not have gone well.
No, it would not have gone well.
All I want you to know is that wherever you're at right now, there's hope. Because when we were at our worst, and if you go back and listen to one of our podcasts, it's the only other podcast Jen's invited me on.
It's called Truth Bombs.
Yeah, from a husband. We go into a lot of what happened back then. So you could listen to that podcast. It'll explain a lot of what the stuff we're talking about if you haven't heard it. What?
The only other podcast. The only other podcast.
That's why I said it. But there's hope. That's the point I'm trying to make, is no matter where you are right now, make a decision, make a choice to say, I'm going to start being a cheerleader. I think too much marriages right now is pointy finger and negative, and what have you done for me? And it's always like blaming the other person, and no one really takes responsibility for their own actions. So I'll be so bold to say, have you taken any responsibility for your own actions? If you're really mad at the other person, have you ever asked yourself once for 1 second, what have I done wrong in this situation? Chances are probably no. Maybe you have. I'm not trying to be a judgmental jerk. It's not. Jen invited me on the podcast, so
Sean's ranting now. Here you go. Pull up a chair.
I believe it thoroughly. What you say matters. So say something positive. You don't have something good to say, don't say something, all that stuff. And now I know it's hard when you're fighting and stuff like that, but even if you started the conversation like this with your special person, And she said, I'm not happy with the way things have been. I really want them to change because I think we're better than that.
That's
If you just said that to me as a husband, I would go, okay, you're vulnerable. If I did that to Jen, I'm being vulnerable as a guy. I'm just say that, repeat that. And then say, where do we go from here? I have no idea.
Get some help.
It's a start.
It takes the average couple 6 years before they'll reach out and go for some kind of counseling.
We had to go for counseling.
Yeah.
It made a huge difference.
It really did. I do lots of coaching for couples. So if that's something you feel comfortable with, you can reach out to me and I'm happy to help that way. I've had so many couples reach out and say, okay, Jen, I really want to come to you for coaching, but I don't know if you can help us because we've gone through this thing and you've probably never heard of this before. Well, I probably have heard of it before and I've probably helped other couples through it. So please, if that's what you're thinking, don't hesitate. Don't wait 6 years. Don't do that. Reach out. Get help from me or someone else, but don't just stay where you are. Don't just sit in it like that.
Guys out there, if your wife, a lady, comes to you and says, I really want to get counseling, guys are immediately, most of the time, going to be very defensive and guarded. Understand that if she's asking you for that, she loves you that much that she's asking you for that. That's kind of how you have to look at it. I didn't look at it that way, and I fought it at first, and that caused more tension in our marriage. So honestly, I believe everyone should have some sort of counseling for something. Like, it just helps. We all have a lot of junk.
As we wrap up the session, I want you to think about how you can be our cheerleader to the person that you do life with. What would it look like for you to take a step towards them? Maybe you're going to have to decide, okay, my life isn't going to look the way that I want it. We're not going to be the super, ultra marathon couple, or we're not going to be the super professional, advanced in our careers couple. Maybe we're going to be more laid back or something else.
Yeah, if you're watching a couple too, even if people look at us and go, oh, Sean and Jen, they have it all together, or you have a couple, you think is perfect and going through stuff. We go through stuff every day and we work hard at this. It takes work. And a lot of people don't want to hear that, right? So I'm sorry, but it takes work. It takes me waking up in the morning, making a decision every day to go, I'm married to this girl. I love her. She's awesome. I'm going to treat her good. And when I come home from work in a driveway, all right, I'm home. I got to be good for my kids, good for my wife. She's awesome. It's a decision I'm making. Some days it's really easy to make that decision. Some days it's not.
But it's so worth it.
Because the hard work does get easier over time once you start doing this with each other every day.
So go all out. Decide to be a cheerleader to your partner. Take a step towards them and go all out. If it's going to go badly, because that's the fear, right? Is if I'm going to take a step towards them and I'm going to change who I am and I'm going to be their cheerleader, what if they don't reciprocate? If it goes badly, at least you will say, I gave it 110%. I gave it absolutely everything. If it's going to get worse, it's not going to be because you held back or you built walls or you were stonewalling or you were defensive or you were critical. Choose to full send it. That if it's going to go bad, it's going to go bad in spite of me doing every single thing I could. So make that decision today, no matter what. Yeah. Come hell or high water, you are going to be your partner's cheerleader. You're going to look for the good. You're going to see the best. You're going to call out the gold in them. And I promise you, no matter what, it's not as bad as you think it is. It's always better than what it seems.
Just start small. Go to the person. Tell them something amazing about them. Go to the person and say, I don't like where our marriage is. Or I don't like where our relationship is. And I know it can be better. I don't know where to go from here, but I want to work on this with you because I love you. So boom, I mean, just say that. You don't have to have the rest of the answers after. They'll come.
That's so good. All right. Thanks, Sean. Thanks for coming. I'm sorry that you have not been a more frequent guest on the podcast.
Yeah, what the heck, Jen?
You're welcome back anytime. You edit the thing. You could just insert your voice whenever you want.
One time I'm going to make a podcast. I'm going to edit and just put like words. I'm going to splice things. Hi, make sure your marriage fails. I'll just.
How about all my mistakes? You can edit those all.
What? There's no. Have you heard any mistakes through this whole podcast? No, because
Sean is amazing.
Hi, sorry, it's Sean. I'm just stopping the podcast for a second because I thought I'd add something that was really important after the fact when I was editing it, and I just want to play it for you. Here, let me just play this.
Sean is amazing.
Let's play it one more time in case you missed it.
Sean is amazing.
Let's just hear it one more time.
Sean is amazing.
Jen has no idea I just did that. All right,
back to the podcast.
Thank you, Sean. Thanks for coming and being guest on the podcast. If you guys have any questions, we tried to be real. This was unscripted and just kind of free range. We tried to just be honest about what our marriage has been like. If you have any further questions, then please don't hesitate to reach out. If you do want a free strategy call to see if maybe coaching would work for you, then just reach out, let me know, and we'll set something up.
It's free.
Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you next time.
Families Matter Most with Jen Dean, part of the Saskatchewan Podcast Network.
Have you booked a free strategy call yet? Because I offer free one-on-one video chats to see what coaching could be like for you. So if you've never tried it, you need to book a free strategy call right now. There's private coaching if you want help in your parenting, if you want help to deal with some anger, to work on some of your kids' negative behaviors, because yep, they all have them. If you want that, you're going to want private coaching. But also if you want to work on you, if you're in a place where you would say, you know what, I need to work on myself so that I can show up better for my family, so that I can take care of stress and anger, so that I can be a better mom, that I can show up and be more positive to the people in my life. If that is where you're at, then book this call. Let's see if private coaching or group health coaching would be a good fit for you. Book a free strategy call today.